John in San Diego, you're next on the EIB Network. Hello.
Since I have you on the line, Rush, have you seen the video of the Bohemian Grove ceremony that Alex Jones produced that's on Google Video?
No, been invited to Bohemian Grove, but I've never been there. And I've not seen the video.
Do you know about the activities within the Grove? Can you talk about that?
No, because I've never been there. All I know is that it's a bunch of elitists and power brokers who conduct secret meetings to take over the world, and they run around nude. It's all men, no women are allowed, and they run around, and you can find them going to the bathroom on the side of trees and so forth, and they have people come out and make speeches to them and all that. And I know it was started by members of the San Francisco Symphony way back who were shunned from San Francisco society, so they formed their own little club there up in Northern California. And it's, Where do you find these people? Have you ever heard of the Bohemian Grove? Oh, you haven't? He believes the Bohemian Grove is the CFR in the woods. The Bohemian Grove was started by members of the San Francisco Symphony or some orchestra way back, many years ago, shunned by San Francisco society. They have camps. It goes on for 3 or 4 weeks up in the Russian River area of Northern California. And there are members from all over the world, and they can take guests. There are people that come out and speak to them. It's rustic living. It's great food. It's great cooking. But people believe that it is nothing more than a secret meeting of world conspiracists who are out to take over the world's money supply and all these other things. I've been asked to speak at the Bohemian Grove, and I'll guarantee you this. Who he hung up? Who was this guy's name? John? Is that what John at San Diego. John, I guarantee you, if the Bohemian Grove is what you think it is, I would never have been invited there as many times, nor would I have been invited to go out and make. Some of my best golf buddies are members of the place, and they go out there and do it. It's just a social thing. It's just a pure social thing, and they do bring in entertainment and speakers. And it's rustic living out on the Russian River, and everybody has these fearful conspiracies and theories about it. One of the myths that always goes around about the Bohemian Grove is that if you do go, since it's all men, you can walk around nude if you want. You don't have to get dressed or any of that. You might even see George Schultz relieving himself on the side of a tree. So one night, some years ago, I was invited to a dinner in Washington of the American Spectator, Bob Tyrrell's fantastic, fabulous magazine and website. I was seated next to the former Treasury Secretary, the late, great William Simon. And he said, you gotta get out to the Grove. And I said, I thought he had a sense of humor. I said, I'd love to get out there because I would love to see George Schultz relieving himself on the side of a tree. And he looked, who told you that? Why, that would never, I can't believe it. I'm shrinking in my seat because I thought he'd understand the humor, because I thought this is something everybody, and he was profoundly offended that that's what the reputation of Grove was. And I'm talking about George Schultz, the former Secretary of State. Look, I'm probably ruining any chance I'll ever have of being invited back, but I'm just telling you these are the popular myths about it when it's actually harmless. It's just 3 or 4 weeks in the summer where people can go out and have a good time. When they're tired of playing golf, they go to Grove.
The World Federalist Association, or WFA, is one of the largest organizations that openly promote world government. Periodically, the WFA extends a Global Governance Award to a prominent individual pushing for the same goal. Former CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite was among the recipients of the WFA Award.
Thank you very much. Today, we must develop federal structures on a global level to deal with world problems. We need a system of enforceable world law, a democratic federal world government.
In a closed-circuit hookup, Hillary Clinton congratulated Cronkite.
For decades, you told us the way it is. But tonight, we honor you for fighting for the way it could be.
In 1993, the WFA honored an editor for Time magazine for an essay he had written entitled The Birth of the Global Nation.
Nationhood as we know it will be obsolete. All states will recognize a single global authority.
After receiving the award, the editor...
Middle of a dinner honoring the sanctity of the First Amendment, and the former Speaker of the House talks about restricting freedom of speech.
In February of 2000, the New York Times allowed the WFA a full-page ad to spread its globalist propaganda.
Our fifth story on the countdown. It might have been his first attempt to fire up his base for a possible presidential run, or it might have been something more ominous. Gingrich was the featured speaker at the annual Naki S. Loeb First Amendment Award dinner in Manchester, New Hampshire last night, where he not only argued that campaign finance reform and the separation of church and state should be rethought because they allegedly hurt the First Amendment, but he also suggested that new rules might be necessary to stop terrorists using freedom of speech to get out their message. Here is his rationalization.
My prediction to you is that either before we lose a city, or if we are truly stupid, after we lose a city, we will adopt rules of engagement that use every technology we can find to break up their capacity to use the internet, to break up their capacity to use free speech, and to go after people who want to kill us, to stop them from recruiting people before they get to reach out and convince young people to destroy their lives while destroying us.
If you're going to destroy freedom of speech, Bub, you've already lost all the cities. And to paraphrase Pastor Martin Niemöller's poem about Germany in the 30s and 40s, first they came for the Fourth Amendment, then they came for habeas corpus, then they came for free speech, and there was no one allowed to speak up.
Little piece of you, a little piece of me, will fly.